I will know it when I see it. I put it together in my head a couple of days after that, and I knew that there was a song that went with it, but I can't recall which one it is right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when I have that scanned. I'm currently going through the 2005 to 2008 notebook that we found
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one.
on the desk right out of sight here.
Yep, yep.
I'd like to give a shout out to Mike and Nelson for doing the automated story of trans.
It's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Trans is such a trip. We never from the very beginning. I wanted to do a video of trans and to tell the story of what it was, and then Geffen Records were so shocked that I made trans that they didn't want to put it out. They thought they were hoping I would make Harvest again or something, and that's when they sued me for making music that was uncharacteristic of Neil Young. So that was unfortunate. So they didn't let me do what I wanted to do with trans in the first place. But what Micah did is great, and we worked together on it. But it's his thing, and he animated it and he put it together, and it's really cool. And it tells the story of trans from yet another angle, and it's very cool to have. And that's part of Volume 3.
John, a couple of people asking for a tour of the vaults behind you.
That'll be a little hard to do. Isn't that just, what is that?
Let's see if my webcam can move. Here are objects of ephemera, photographs, negatives, tickets, posters, harmonica holders, 3D glasses, audio tapes, all of the manuscripts, redwood shelves with album masters, press, large format art. That's it. That's it for this room. There are other rooms.
Wow.
More seats.
Yep. It's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Any update on the Mirrorball Live box set? Are there plans to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Mirrorball next year?
Probably. Put that on the list, Frank. Yeah, we've been through Scenery, which is what I'm calling Mirrorball Live, and yeah, and then we have the film from Dublin. So there's an album that has a lot of cool stuff, some really cool stuff from can't remember if it was it Israel? Frank, did we play Israel for? No, I don't think we did. There's some place that we played over in that area of the world that had some really great stuff in it. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff from that, and I remember that. And it's cool. What year was Mirrorball?
95.
95, but it's going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's in there. Yep. Scenery, that's my favorite song from that whole period. But there's some good ones. That was great playing with Pearl Jam. A lot of fun. What a great band. Jeff Ament and Jack Irons, bass and drums. And everybody, Mike McCready and Stone, and it was just so cool. What a great band. That was a lot of fun. And when Eddie came by and sang on a couple of things, it was very cool.
Got a slightly technical question asking if everything in this vault and the other vaults has been digitized, or if people ask for example, a timeline concert, if we need to transfer tapes. The answers to those two questions are no and yes.
Depends. Sometimes all we have is in like a cassette or something, and we have to transfer that. And other times we already have it in digital, and sometimes the quality is not too great, and so we listen and we decide whether it's good enough, and in a lot of cases we put it out. But the timeline concerts are, they're not masters, they're not mixes, they're nothing. They're just what happened that night and or day, and that's so we just put them out like that. There's one out there that's I was asked about in the letters. By the way, I read all those letters. In case anybody was wondering, that's me answering it. I always get these letters of people say, I don't know if it's really you answering it or who's answering it for you and everything. And I do that every Saturday. I get another group of letters, and I actually do that. I read them and answer them. So, and it's a big part of my life. I enjoy it. It keeps me in touch with everybody. And people ask a lot of questions similar to these questions we're getting now. So it's always stimulating to get them because they're timely. Now, sometimes they go way back in time, but sometimes they're right about what's happening right now. So it's very cool to hear from everybody. I really like that.
How did you meet Reverend Billy and decide to bring the Stop Shop and choir on the road?
Reverend Billy and I met a few years ago somewhere, and I saw the Stop Shopping choir and heard what he was saying, and I really enjoyed Reverend Billy's point of view, and I think he's in the world of performance art, religion, conscience, political things. It's a big world, and I think he's got a really cool way of presenting it, and I love his character. So if we do another tour, like another Love Earth kind of tour, I hope I can get Billy to come with me with the choir. I also find that when I do these shows that a lot of people, if you have an opening act or you have another band that plays, they really have a rough time. In my shows, people, they come and they want to see me play, and that's why they came. And it's not really a groovy place to be. But when Billy does it, he's in such another zone. People have no idea what's happening, and that's why I like that.
What is the status on Canary?
Canary is in the final status right now. We're doing what's called the line edit, where the book is completely written, and now I'm going through it with my editor, and we're going through it and maybe changing a word here and a word there for the flow of the way it's written. My father wrote about 40 books, and this is the first novel that I've ever written. So I've been working on it since 2016, and it's a science fiction novel. So I've just taken my time with it and doing it in a classic way. When I say there's an editor, you got to, it's really me that writes it. And then everybody, the editor will say, okay, well, it's not clear to me that this happened at a certain time, or what had this happened before, had something other event happened yet. And they'll read the document and they'll read the whole manuscript and tell me what's not clear to them and ask me questions. And that's what the editing process is that I'm going through. So I'll see these questions and I'll go, wow, I really didn't make that very clear. So then I'll go back and I'll try to shift things around and make it clear what it is. So it's because since it's all made up and all fiction and the whole thing is like in another world, you really can't take for granted what's going on. But it's a very interesting story, I think, and I hope people like it. It won't be long now I have no idea how long. And so we haven't even made a deal for when it comes out. We haven't got a publisher. We haven't done any of that. But I don't think we're going to have trouble getting a publisher. I can't wait for everybody to read that.
How's the CSNY 69 coming along?
Should be out pretty soon. It's finished. Stephen and I did the post-production on it with John Hanlon, and it's all analog. It's analog originals. So the whole thing is analog. There's not one digital piece of machinery working in the making of the record. So the vinyl that comes out is just like a vinyl would have been in 1969. Everything is done the same way. So it's got the sound, and it's a beautiful thing. It's great to hear Crosby and Nash and Stills. I had just joined the band, like within weeks of when that came out. It was like 2 weeks after Woodstock or something. It's a pretty cool record. There's a Down by the River on that record that is maybe the definitive Down by the River, even though everybody thinks the Crazy Horse one is, because that's the one that came out. But this may have been, I don't know for sure. I don't know what year. Everybody knows This Is Nowhere came out. Probably 68 or 69. And this was 69. I imagine it was 69 when Everybody Knows came out. Mm-hmm. So about the same time as when I was in the studio with Crazy Horse. I was also out with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And we did Down by the River. There's like a very, very long...
Hello, my name is Dr. Cassie, and you may know me from the Verge's YouTube channel.
What was that?
I don't know.
Weird.
Good to have a visitor drop in like that. Will you say something again? Okay, moving on.
Bleed from another room.
Everybody knows This Is Nowhere came out at 5/14/1969.
Yeah.
Okay.
Recorded in January, though, I think. At least the song.
Yeah, it was released in
May.
May.
Got a few questions about Sonos and having an NYA dedicated Sonos app.
Yeah, we've looked at it. We've talked to Sonos, and but a lot of people just use AirPlay, which works just fine right now. So the only thing that would be different would be you'd put access to NYA in the Sonos app, and right now Sonos is pretty much focused on fixing their app. They've sort of cut off communications with everybody who were in discussions with adding things to their app. They've got a big problem, as you probably know, with their new app. It's something we could do if they wanted us to do it. There's some development effort, and I think, Frank, the last time we talked, they wanted us to pay for all of that. And it's not high res either, so that was the other factor. We do have it on the Lenbrook platform, Blue, what's it called? Blue
OS?
Blue OS, yeah, exactly. And that's in full high resolution. So that right now is the best way to listen to NYA over your home system. You can buy one of a number of devices from NAD, which is one of their companies, or another company, and then just stream music directly onto your stereo system from NYA.
Okay, do we have a couple of more questions?
Yeah, here's one changing the subject a little bit. People like Bob's book on golf, Thought it was great. How often do you play golf these days, and what's your most memorable game of golf?
Well, I haven't played golf that much lately, uh, but I think I might go out and play a little bit someday soon here. I'm getting to that point. And I've had a couple of good games that I played, but I was not really a great golfer, so it was fun. Then I stopped doing it because my hands were hurting. And then I haven't started since. I think that was probably back in the 80s, in the early 80s when I stopped playing. But my brother still plays. It's an interesting book. He's also got he's like a medium. He talks to other people. You know how people do that? Every once in a while, there are these people that are talking to people, and they speak through them, and that whole thing. So he's an interesting guy. That might end up talking to a bunch of golfers from the past that are not around. That'd be interesting. It's kind of off the wall way to go at it. But Mind Golf is a cool book about golf. My brother's viewpoint of golf and the way to play it is pretty revolutionary.
We have a question about when the next bridge benefit video will be going up.
Good question. I try to keep that on track. It seems really hard to keep it on track. I think Bob Rice is doing it now. He does like one a year or something. Doesn't do them very fast. So
yeah, you took him out on tour and you took him away from his desk. I think that was the problem.
Oh yeah, right. Right.
We do have a video that's pretty much ready to go. I can call you about it after this.
Yeah, we should put it out. I would like to put out more of those. We have a lot of them that just need to be, cleaned up a little bit, and they could go out.
There's one thing about it that you need to approve, and then it's good to go. So we can just get you to approve it, and then we can.
Yeah, if you throw it to me, I'll be able to approve it. But until I see it.
Last question.
How's Old Black? Any renovations needed?
Nope. Just new strings every once in a while.
And have you ever thought about releasing a signature guitar with either Martin or Gibson?
I've had some discussions with them, and I don't know. Maybe. I don't think about that kind of thing very much. I got my guitars here, and I'm still here. My guitars are still here. So the thing I will say is that I just playing some more gigs and trying to get myself kind of reoriented to playing and going out there really makes me feel good. So that's a really good thing that I'm just getting back into now after what happened on the Love Earth tour, where a couple of us really hit the wall for I couldn't believe what happened there. I was doing great and we were moving right along. Everybody was loving the shows. And I just woke up one morning on the bus and I said, I can't do this. I got to stop. And it was like I felt sick when I thought of going on stage. It was like, my body was telling me, you got to stop. So I listened to my body. And, then it gets into all the legal matters with, well, you got this, you got that. People bought tickets. They did this, they did that. I understand that. But what matters to me is the art of playing and the music. That's what matters. That's what people loved. That's what they love to come and see. But if that's not there, me going is not happening. So my body told me to not do it. But now I'm starting to feel like I could do it again, and that's a great feeling. Not all of Crazy Horse. This happened to a couple of us, and we're not all the way back. So Crazy Horse will be back, God willing, and we'll play more. But in the meantime, I have a lot of friends that I play with, and several of the guys from Promise of the Real are going to be playing with me when I go out. It won't be Promise of the Real. but it'll just be a pared down version of that, and I'll be out doing that in a couple of weeks. And we haven't announced any shows yet, but they're mostly theaters that I played before, little theaters, and there I can play a little bit of acoustic and then have the band come out and play. I did shows like that back in the day, and they were cool, where I'd come out and play acoustic and play a number of songs, and then the bands just walk out and we just keep on going. And they won't be marathons. They won't be like 2 hours and 10 minutes of blasting rock and roll like it was with Crazy Horse, which we had no breaks. We just went all out and had a great time, and we played really well, and we played with all our heart and soul, and we did a good service to the name Crazy Horse and paid respect to what that was. But when it got to the point where we had done it and now we were doing it again, that's when I stopped. That can't be controlled. You can't tell when that's going to happen and when it isn't. So I'm sorry to all the people who bought tickets who I couldn't go, but I listen to my body.
Well, thank you all for participating, all the patrons. We really appreciate your support, and we're going to let you all in to say hello.
We really do appreciate that. I just want you to really feel that. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
Thanks, Neil. Feel better.
This is great.
Neil.
Do what you need to stay healthy. Do what you need to do to stay healthy.
Down under in the store. Love you, Neil.
Bye-bye.
Feel better. Looking forward to seeing you again, Neil.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you, Neil.
Rock and roll, Neil. Rock and roll. Creative decisions, Neil.
Love you, Neil.
Love you. Best to the family.
Yeah, I love you, Neil.
See you with the boys.
Neil, be good.
Neil.
Let's do the Ford again in Los Angeles, too.
Thank you, Neil.
Appreciate the music, Neil.
Paris Walls, 24.
Rock me again.
Neil.
Yeah. Rock and roll.
Thank you, Neil.
Love you, Neil.
Gracias. See you soon.
Stay healthy.
Thanks for
Neil.
taking good care of yourself. Thanks for taking good care of yourself. We want that. We don't want you to come sick. Do what you need to do, man.
Yeah. Stay healthy.
Neil, stay healthy, Neil. Stay healthy, Neil.
Love you, Neil.
Love you, man.
Bring Lucas.
Bye.
Record.